Well, the first thing I did ever in front of people was in 3rd grade. I must have been about, geez, how old are you in 3rd grade? 7 or 8 years old or something. They used to have a little recess at lunch, and I went on stage and did an Elvis Presley impression. I was wiggling my hips. And the 4th grade girls went, "Wah!" So I said, "Oh, this is pretty cool." And the teacher pulled me off the stage for wiggling my hips. I mean, in 3rd grade, you don't even have hips. So that, I think, gave me a taste of wanting to do something. And then right after the Beatles came out, about 1 million bands formed, local neighborhood bands, what they called garage bands.
Mm-hmm.
And they were mostly guitar bands, but I could play the piano pretty well. I could pick up music really quick, and I could sing a little bit. And they asked me to join the band. It was '64, same year the Beatles came out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what got me into it. And the first gig, we played at some church dance, and we're playing, and the girls are looking on stage. These girls would not look twice at me, all of a sudden were staring at me all night. They went, yay, after we finished playing the songs. And at the end of the night, the priest gave me $15. That was it. I said, that's it.
Your first paid job by a priest.
This is what I'm doing. Right, that's it, yeah.
After the sort of like the invasion of the Beatles, and then you started finding different groups, and then there was an experimentation with different keyboards. Were you doing the same? I mean, or were you sticking purely to just the piano?
No, I was playing organ at that point in the Hassles. Hammond organ, Hammond B3. The big group at the time was the Young Rascals.
Uh-huh.
And they had a Hammond B3, which was the biggest keyboard you could drag around. You had to have 2 roadies hauling the thing around. It was expensive. It was like $3,000. So I kind of bought it on time. I ended up paying for it for like 5 years or something. I don't know if I even still own the thing.
So what came out of the Hassles? I mean, were you participating as far as songwriting, of writing some of the songs with that group?
Yeah, the second Hassles album, which was a psychedelic nightmare, I did a lot of writing and experimenting. I mean, I didn't even know what psychedelic was. I didn't know what acid was. You know, I was just trying to write like that. But the drummer and I actually left the band because the Hassles were kind of becoming bubblegummy to us. We wanted to do something heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And the drummer and I formed a 2-man group. It was very, very loud, very, very heavy. I guess it predated what would be called heavy metal. It's right around the time Zeppelin hit.
Right.
And I had like 10 amplifiers. I had the organ going directly through amps. It was the loudest thing in the world. And the vocals, of course, in a heavy metal band, as every heavy metal vocalist, you have to scream. Because you must get higher than the lead guitar, which is up here. So the vocalist has to be, wow, like the guy in AC/DC. I mean, you pretty much have to adopt that vocal technique. We had about 12 gigs. And by the 3rd gig, I can't keep doing this. Because you're not singing, you're screaming. You're basically screaming. It was pretty heavy stuff. That band was called Attila. It was Attila the Hun. We were going to conquer the world with amplification, see. We made one very forgettable album on Epic Records. I'll never forget the recording of it. There was this German engineer. He didn't like rock and roll to begin with. Now we came in with this loud music, and that was it. He just tuned right out. Didn't know what was going on. Hated it. I can't blame him. I mean, geez, we didn't know what we were doing with that kind of volume. And the album kind of came out sounding like an old radio with a broken speaker, sort of that kind of sound quality. And Epic, you know, very graciously let us go as quickly as they could. You know, like the Cadbury's, her business, you know, like that. So, and that's about 1970. And I decided after that, look, I don't want to be a pop star, I don't want to be a rock and roll star, I just want to write. I want to write for other people. And I was writing songs. This is actually the beginning of the era of what they call the singer-songwriter. McCartney had gone on his own.
Yeah.
James Taylor had just hit really big. And that whole style was starting up. It just seemed like a good time for a writer.
Right.
And I went around to different publishing companies, different record companies. I got a guy who was like a manager shopping the tape around saying, this guy's a writer, do you have any artists who want to do this material? The advice we got back from people in the record business was, if you want them to hear your songs, you should make an album, you know, record them yourself. It seemed like a weird way to be a writer, but I did. I went ahead and got a deal with some funny company out in Los Angeles called Family Records. Right. And cut an album called Cold Spring Harbor, which is pretty badly produced. speed it up, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, but I might say that there's some good songs on that, and it sort of certainly shows a reflection of perhaps the time you lived in, I mean, you know, just in your teenage years and Long Island period.
Yeah, that was pretty much the sensitive suffering anguish of the young artist.
Right.
I have to get a lot older before I can look back on that with any kind of objectivity. To me, it's still a little difficult to swallow, that album. I'm not crazy about that one. But it was a stab in an expressive direction of being a writer, a singer, songwriter, I suppose, which is the genre I'm in.
With your songwriting, you've just sort of said that, you know, that melodies come around in your head, and then you go away and then you experiment on the piano with it. Do any come from you just, like, searching for it on the piano?
Sometimes I'll get a song just from playing the piano, stumbling across some kind of chord progression by accident. I find the best things you do, and most original things you do, are always accidents, because people can teach you how to do things right, but only you know how to really screw up, you know. And I dream music. I dream in abstractions. I know people say, I had this dream last night. I was running across a field and I saw a dragon. I dream in sounds.
Right.
And I wake up in the morning and I'll start writing it down.
Is there any time when you write down lyrics first and then?
I've tried that, but I've found that when I try to fit music to the words, that the music suffers. And I'm primarily a musician, not a poet.
Right.
So I find it works better the other way for me. Write the music first.
When I sort of first met you, you seemed to be sort of almost like an introverted character, and yet then I'd see you on stage and I think, that couldn't have been the same person, you know? Now, I mean, it all fits perfectly. I mean, you're very outgoing, happy, and was there a period there?
Yeah,
that,
really? Is it a big difference?
to me it is.
Yeah?
It just seemed at one stage there you were very sort of...
Maybe, yeah.
No?
I'm not aware of it.
Right.
I don't know. I'm sure I'm a lot happier now. But, geez, on stage, it still, there's a lot craziness comes out. You don't know where it comes from. This is a big release on stage. I come off stage and I'm okay now.
Right.
I'm okay, I can just get back and be real boring again.
To see you, I've heard of a saying, the beaming bride, and when you first walked in, I couldn't work out was the beaming father or the beaming artist, because he's got a great new album out. I think it's the beaming father more than anything.
Yeah, that has a lot to do with attitude, sure.
Well, you're very happy, right?
Yeah, I'm very happy.